In this video, we are going to look at multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions is actually a little bit easier than adding and subtracting fractions in that we don't have to find a common denominator. We're basically just going to multiply. So let's look at example number 1 here. We have 2/3 times 1/2. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply our numerators together, and that's the top numbers. So 2 times 1 is going to give me 2. And then I multiply my denominators together, or the bottom number. 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. So my answer is 2/6. However, that can be reduced to 1/3. And that's how we're going to multiply fractions. So our final answer is going to be 1/3. Let's look at another example. We have 5/7 times 3/8. Again, let's multiply our numerators together. So 5 times 3 is going to give us 15. And then multiply our denominators together. 7 times 8 will give us 56. And 15 over 56 cannot be reduced any further. So that's our final answer. Let's look at number 3. We have 3/4 times 5/9. So again, let's multiply our numerators together. 3 times 5 is going to give us 15. And 4 times 9 will give us 36. Now, we need to reduce this number because we know that 3 goes into both of these numbers. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 36 12 times. So our final answer reduced is 5/12. Now, starting with this number, I want to redo this problem and show you another way to do it that will make it easier for you depending on the numbers. So let's say we have the same exact problem here, 3/4 times 5/9. I could do something called cross simplification. So if you look at the numbers basically in a cross, so look at these two numbers, the 3 and the 9, and the 4 and the 5, we can ask ourselves, can I reduce them any further? So if I look at the 3 and the 9, can I reduce that? I can, because 3 goes into both itself and 9. So 3 goes into itself 1 time, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now the 5 and 4, the only common factor they share is 1. So that's not going to simplify it any further. So now we have a new numerator right here, so we multiply. 1 times 5 will give us 5, and 4 times 3 will give us 12. So we end up getting the same answer. The only difference is we reduced before we did the multiplication. So essentially what that's going to do is, depending on the numbers, it'll make it a lot easier for you to multiply. So let's look at what the numbers we have over here. We have 7/10 times 5/6. Again, we can just multiply straight across. 7 times 5 will give us 35, and 10 times 6 will give us 60. So let's write that. Now we have 35/60. However, if we think about our divisibility rules, it should be easy for us to see that 5 goes into both of those numbers. So 5 goes into 35 7 times, and 5 goes into 60 12 times. So our final answer is 7/12. If we look at it the other way with cross simplification, let's rewrite the problem. 7/10 times 5/6. So let's look at the cross numbers. The 7 and the 6 cannot be reduced any further. However, the 5 and the 10 can be reduced. 5 goes into itself 1 time, 5 goes into 10 twice. So now let's multiply. We have 7 times our new numerator of 1 is 7, and then we have this new denominator, 2 times 6 will give us 12. So again, we're going to get the same answer either way. Let's look at 2 more examples. So we have 4/8 times 7/12. Another thing I can do is, now I can reduce this 4 and the 12. I can cross simplify. But another way I can look at this is I can reduce the 4/8. 4/8 is the same as 1/2. So I can rewrite that as 1/2 times 7/12. Now I lose the ability to cross simplify now, but that's okay because I still have a smaller set of numbers. So if I multiply my numerators together, 1 times 7, and then 2 times 12 is going to give us 24, and that is my final answer. So again, let's just go through this problem up top here and do the cross simplification way. So 4 would go into itself once, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and I can't cross simplify with the 8 and the 7. So I just multiply 1 times 7 and 8 times 3 gives us the same answer. And of course, if you didn't cross simplify and you didn't reduce 1/2, you would eventually end up with the same answer. You would just have to multiply 4 times 7 to get 28, and 8 times 12 to get 96, and then you would have to reduce from there. Final one here. Sometimes we can cross simplify both sets of numbers. So if we look at the 10 and the 40, we know that 10 goes into itself once, and it goes into 40 4 times. And then on this going this way, I know that 13 goes into itself 1 time, and it goes into 26 2 times. So I just made those numbers a lot easier to work with. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. So I have 2/4, which reduces to 1/2. And obviously working with those numbers and reducing those numbers is probably a little bit easier than multiplying. If we take the same problem here, 10 over 13 times 26 over 40, multiplying these numbers, if I didn't reduce, cross simplify, I would be working with numbers that are a lot larger, and obviously the larger the number, many times the more difficult it is to work with. And that is how we are going to multiply fractions.